There's a lot of focus on office. These are Bs, right? 34.5 billion office, industrial, retail, apartments. Look at apartments. I think that you've got outstanding distress. So obviously that's today. So offices jumped way ahead, and that's what everybody's focused on. That's what the media's focused on for obvious reasons. Work from home. People are not showing up to offices anymore. Office buildings are not leasing the same amount of space or even if any space. I sold an office building this year. I had my last office building. I sold it in July for this exact reason. I just didn't want to be in a situation that, we were fighting for people to come back to the office. Now, I think that you're probably pretty safe in the 1 to 2 to 3 to 4,000 square foot. But some of these big office plates, they're in big trouble. So, when you need 10, 20, 50,000 square feet, which is a lot of people, they're just not showing back up. Now, you guys probably all know these office leases that have long legs. They're 3, 5, 7 years. Pandemic was, 3 years ago? If you signed a lease and you're halfway through it, you still are paying. So I had a guy on my podcast, and his name was Gary, and he had 650 commercial properties in 23 states. And I said, tell me about shadow inventory, which is occupied, but they're not coming in. It's a huge number, huge. Imagine, you guys see it everywhere. The company, whoever it is, like I went into a building and DoorDash was, one of the tenants. No one in there. Door was closed, sign on the door, work from home. Still paying rent, okay? That's all coming. So there's a huge distress in office. And there's also a bunch of studies around where people are, whether or not they're even coming back, because some don't want to. Some employers say it's okay. Some say you have to come back. So there's all this stuff going on. So that's going to be the first kind of domino to fall. What really is probably the second one is going to be more than likely retail, which is still the Amazon effect, let's call it. And then what's doing really well for retail is grocery, food. If you have a center or you have something where there's a place to go buy food, all the people around that are doing really well. But the centers that are consolidating and rolling up and moving out, the smaller groceries, let's say, those little centers are dying on the vine. So you've probably seen it. First it's gone, and then it's a Planet Fitness. Then it's gone. Then it's a secondhand store or whatever. It's a slow deterioration over a long period of time. But the tenants around those shopping centers are in big trouble because they survive based on, everybody showing up for, buying their groceries every day. But even in my own company, when you thought rates were going to be 3.5 or 4, and they're now, in the 6s, maybe even 7s, maybe even 8s if you're in the construction. It's a significant difference. You can literally go from something that was cash flowing 100, 200,000 a month to negative 100 a month just because of interest rates. Same property, same management company, same ownership, same investors, same rent growth, same expenses. So what we have here is we have a whole bunch of people that are trying to manage their negative cash flows and their rate caps and all those kinds of things. And they've either done a good job or they haven't, based on the amount of money and the reserves that they have. So obviously that's all over the map. Some are doing cash calls. Some are doing, they're bringing in extra partners and squeezing down limited partners, and their limited partners don't even know. And so we're selling their GP interests, and it's all over the map what's actually happening. They're just trying to keep the deal. And these 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 interest rate cuts, it's not going to move the needle that much, I can tell you right now, unless something really dramatically happens this year, which it could.